Yes, folks, time now for our international press review in the papers. Catherine Norris-Trent is here. Take it away.
Yeah, we're going to start off with Hillary Clinton's visit to the Middle East.
Big news.
Yep, and a lot on her plate. The Spanish newspaper El País, they say that when she goes to Israel, she's currently in Egypt for that Gaza conference, but when she goes to Israel, one of the big issues there is putting pressure on the Israeli government to halt all Jewish settlements in occupied territories. And obviously that won't be popular with many people in Israel. El País says the honeymoon between Israel and the USA is over. So that looks like a tough issue. Elsewhere, another burning question is Hamas and whether how much the group will be involved in any future peace talks or any Palestinian unity government. The Jerusalem Post, the Israeli paper, they have a rather worried editorial. They're hoping that Clinton will put pressure on Hamas to stick by conditions they've agreed. They're worried that Europe will be too soft. From the Arab world, a perspective from the Gulf News, the United Arab Emirates paper, they say they've got an interview with a Saudi prince who says Hamas must absolutely be part of any deal. So that's going to be a tough equation for Clinton to balance there.
OK, so Clinton with a lot on her plate. Next, issues regarding the economic crisis.
Yeah, for a long time now, there's been lots of doom and gloom in the papers, and frankly, there still is. But there are also now a few glimmers of hope coming through. Some of the papers coming up with some unusual, very novel ways of perhaps getting round or beating the economic crisis. The Los Angeles Times, on their front page, they've got a paper about the US renewable energy industry, and they say that could be one way.
Jobs with a rush, good headline.
Absolutely, and apparently the Los Angeles Times says there are lots of jobs repairing all American wind turbines and that these jobs are very well paid, so they're proposing that as one way of helping people to deal with the crisis.
Other ideas?
Yep, the Brazilian paper Folha de Sao Paulo, they say Islamic finance is the way forward.
Islamic finance?
Yep, that's the...
Do explain.
Well, I'm not an expert on Islamic finance, but no interest rates. And apparently, according to this Brazilian paper, it's based on a code of ethics. So they think, they cite an analyst saying that will prevent any further Madoff-type scandals, big fraud cases, because it's based on ethics. So watch this space. We could all be dealing with Islamic finance soon.
So that explains why you and I are skinned, because we're both very ethical.
Perhaps that's one of the reasons, Mark.
And
the Washington Post, their reporter in Italy, they say that more and more Italian individuals and businesses are turning to the Mafia for financial help. Now, I don't recommend this as a solution because banks are not coughing up loans and cash, so people are turning to loan sharks instead.
No indication as to what the interest rates are that they're giving?
I haven't got details on the rates if you're interested, but I would perhaps warn you against it because they've got some interviews with people who've had run-ins with Mafia bosses because they can't pay back, and it's not very nice.
An offer they can't refuse, so to speak. So, OK. Well, from loan sharks to real sharks.
Absolutely. Australia has been suffering from a string of deadly and very nasty shark bite attacks. It's their summer, of course, and around the Sydney area especially, it's been 3 in the last 3 weeks.
Blood on the sand, fear in the water.
Absolutely, lots of very dramatic, gory headlines and articles, lots of photographs. It's really caught the public imagination there. Apparently terror has gripped Sydney. In the Sydney Morning Herald, there's another extremely gory headline. It's an account from the latest bite victim, a 15-year-old boy. He says he saw nothing but saw teeth chew his thigh. Felt teeth chew his thigh, rather. So that obviously was a very nasty experience for him.
Of course, this happens when he's out surfing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the most of the...
Who are they blaming?
In the Sydney Morning Herald again, apparently people are blaming the Australian government. They're saying that aerial patrols to spot sharks aren't efficient enough and the government hasn't put up enough meshing to prevent the sharks getting into water. So poor old Australian government, first the fires, now this. A lot to deal with.
OK. Well, from that shark attack, we'll swim off and do something else with Franz van Cat. Do stay with us. That was Catherine with the Press Review.